Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I wanted to share this beautiful friendship card with you where I've done this two-tone hydrangea. So let me set this aside and we'll make this card together. For this card, we're going to need the beautiful friendship stamp set, and I'm going to be using this hydrangea blossom down here in the lower left. I have already set it up on my stamparatus, and we're going to start with some soft seafoam ink and the sponge dauber, and I'm just going to add the soft seafoam to the middle of this stamp. So let's close this up. Okay, so we just want that light bit of green going on. Maybe down here, this will be the bottom of that middle section. Might need just a tad more because it's very light down here. Okay, now next I'm going to add some Highland Heather, and the same thing, I'm going to use my sponge dauber, and even if I weren't doing a two-tone treatment for this stamp, since it is a distinctive stamp, I might want to be using sponge daubers if my ink pads were really juicy. The distinctive stamps are easier to use when you don't have really juicy ink pads. So now I want to clean this with my Simply Chamois, and I'm going to move the stamp. And so while I do that, I'm going to put my grid sheet back on. I made these grid sheets for my customers last summer who bought the stamparatus from me. They got a selection of 6 different sheets. I'd rather have that over in here. Okay, now for this one we just want to, this will be the top of the stamp, and so we're just inking what's basically the top half of this. Let's see if we got enough of it. Looks like that bottom corner might not have gotten any ink. So that's in here, and we'll touch it again. The reason the stamp wants to cling to the cardstock is that not all of it has ink on it, and when that happens, the photopolymer wants to cling. So be extra careful as you open and close the cover of the stamparatus. We're going to add one more in here. My neighbor's hydrangea bush is kind of variegated like this with the purples and greens, and I particularly like it. So every year I try to do something that captures the beautiful bush that they have. Mine is a vibrant pink. And I want that to be just a little bit darker down here, and that's going to be this flower. Have to think upside down as you ink the stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this around. I want to put one in this upper corner here. So let's put my grid sheet back on here. We're going to have it peeking off there. And this one I'm going to add some of the soft sea foam to. So let me do that. And then the Highland Heather. And there we go, just a hint up there in the corner. Let me close my ink pads and move them out of the way and put the Stamparatus aside as I'm done with that. Clean this before closing it up. Okay, so next I want to add some leaves to these hydrangea blossoms. And the leaves are also the distinctive ink. I'm just going to set my photopolymer there, and I am going to give them a light stamp off on text weight paper. Text paper absorbs ink differently than cardstock does, so I like to use it often when I'm stamping off. It doesn't absorb as much of the ink. Okay, let's move these aside. Give them a quick clean here. Trying to decide, do I want one more leaf up here? I might want one more set of leaves up here. Kind of gives that mounding look that hydrangeas have. And close up this ink pad, and now we're ready to assemble. So let me grab my card base here. It's garden green, and I have a piece of soft sea foam, and we're just going to attach this directly because this is kind of a narrow border on this piece. And when I use narrow borders, I tend to layer the mats with multi-purpose glue. And then, where are my dimensionals? Add this with dimensionals. Ooh. One more. Okay, make sure I've got it facing the right way. And for whatever reason, I can't quite see here. Okay, so next, for the sentiment, I have used the stitched label dies. I've used this one here. And then I've cut a 1 1/8 circle with the scallop punch. And using the story label punch, I cut a piece of soft sea foam. Now for the soft sea foam, I've cut off both of these little almost tabs on the side. And then I cut this piece not quite in half and used the smaller portion. So here's my layered up sentiment. I've added a piece of the white Whisper White Polka Dot tool, which adds to the lightness here. It's on dimensionals. And then we just need to add some rhinestones. And let's see, where do we want one? I think over here. And then maybe here. Okay, and that's our card. So, a beautiful friendship card using the hydrangea and giving it a little two-tone look. Thanks for stopping by today. At the end of the video, there will be a link to subscribe to my YouTube channel, one to hop on over to my blog where you can see more details about supplies for this project, and then a couple of videos that I've suggested that I think you might like. Thanks. This was Sara Levin, the Artful Inker of theartfulinker.com.